Guys, what's up? Welcome back, as always, to a new video. I know there's been nothing on the channel for a couple of weeks now. There's been a lot happening. I'll take you guys through that whenever the time comes, whenever the time is right to go over it. Right now is probably just not that time. So with everything going on, we've been back in Scotland for the past week. We're going to be here for a few more days. We've took the opportunity whilst being here in Scotland to do a little day trip. We've came up to the brand new performance gym here in Irvine. I believe it has just opened around a couple of weeks ago now, so we're going to go in, spec it out, see what is happening, see the equipment in it, see the layout, see absolutely everything. I do believe it's around 2 times the size of the original version. I've trained out the original PG gym quite a few times, way back in like 2017, so I'm kind of expecting it to be relatively similar, but it's meant to be on a whole new level once again. And I know they've got a lot of pieces of equipment and a lot of really good brands in here. We are on push today as well. It's going to be a shoulder focused push, so nothing too big, but as always we're going to send it because that is the only thing we do, and we've got to take things as serious as possible as always. I am, just for a little update as well, I'm around 16 weeks, I think, 15 weeks from the guest spot at the BNBF Scottish. Then be 3 weeks after that will be the DFAC Grand Prix. 3 weeks after that is the DFAC Worlds, and there could be a couple of things in there, but that is kind of where we're at right now. Still no changes have been made to the diet. Everything is absolutely flying. I'm feeling good. I'm definitely feeling like I'm dieting 110%. That is one thing, but I'm feeling full. I'm feeling very energized. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling full of stamina. I'm on my second cycle now of Formidable, which I can only say really good things about, which I'm super happy with, so that will most definitely be staying in. But besides that, guys, we have arrived. I've got some food into me. Sweet potato has went in, carbs have went in. I just need to take my pre-workout and we will be ready to train. So performance gym here in Irvine, let's go and see what it's all about. Anybody that's wondering, we've got 8 scoops of HR Labs Defib in my Strength Shop UK, in brackets, Kiffy West for discount, shaker. Just been offered a gym induction. I do feel quite small now. I definitely feel quite small in this hoodie, but it's not the nicest thing on the planet to get offered a good old gym gym induction when you've been training for 10 years. Meant to be pro. To be fair, I am deeper into prep now, so that's my excuse. I look even more normal in clothes, and then I'll take my clothes off and then somebody will try and accuse me of being on gear or ask me what I'm taking. That's always the same, but at first glance, this is a really fucking good gym. Some gyms you go to, you'll get like some really good leg equipment, and then the other equipment will just be shit. But from what I can see anyway, and what we've seen already, you've got some really good pieces for every body part, which is a mega big win. It was £10 for a day pass, so on average most gyms I would say nowadays is at least a tenner. We're meant to be on shoulder focused push, so what that means is one chest fly in at the back end, but from what I can see here, I think we're going to end up doing a chest press along with it, just purely down to the fact of we've travelled here. I've not got many more push sessions around this workout, so me putting a press in today is not going to really do any sort of damage whatsoever. It's not going to kill me off for another session. I've got legs tomorrow, and the thing is, there's just some really nice chest press pieces. So I think a lateral, a shoulder press or 2, a chest press, a fly, and then we can maybe move on to some arms from there. But the temptation, this brings me back to like whenever I used to travel to just train anywhere or train at bigger gyms. The temptation just to come in and do a full upper body session is there. But we're going to be as sensible as possible today, guys. Remember, I'm on prep. I'm a lot more years into this now, so I'm not at them kind of come in and just do absolutely everything as much as I want to, but looking forward to this one. So we'll kickstart it with a lateral raise and then we'll move on from there. Aye. Oh. Okay. We'll do another one of them. That felt really good. So we'll hit another one and just look for 12 plus, and then we could just move on to first press from there. Oh. 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 Aye. Up. Aye. Oh, Jesus, fuck. Took a plunge there and put that up and wait for that set, just because the first weight felt really good. I thought I put it up 1 pin, but I actually put it up 2 pins, so got quite the shock straight away. But we still took around 12 or 13 good reps there before partials, so I'm happy enough with that one. Hammer strength lateral raise, again, I seem to fit well in it. I've used it a lot before, and this one and the Life Fitness, I believe it is, and Prime. 3 really nice seated lateral raise machines. It's sometimes very hard to find them, but really happy with this one. Fit into it from the very beginning, which again is always a win. And one for not really having the patience to kind of fuck about trying to find the perfect positions and things. Although I will say they do matter, and I will find the good positions whenever I'm in the gym, but I just like to find a machine and get stuck into it straight away. So it felt good though. I'm happy with that. I want to move on to the Arsenal Strength shoulder press next, just because I've seen it and I've never used it before, but anytime I've seen people use it, it just looks fucking incredible. So I could be totally wrong. We could jump onto it and it can feel absolutely horrendous. But we'll jump onto that one next. Obviously, with this being a different gym, guys, I'm not looking to just go absolutely bonkers because I know how everything feels. Obviously, everything's a lot different. So it's a case of find where my baseline weights are going to be, warm up, gauge by that. I've done this for 10 years now, so I know exactly how to do that. And it'll be a case of find where I am for maybe, say, a set of 6 to 10 reps, and exact same goes for 10 plus, and then we can hit 1 or 2 sets, and then we can just move on to the next one from there. I feel as if it's a bodybuilder thing to jump onto any piece of equipment and like start making noises from the very beginning, even though there's no weight on it. Like I literally just caught myself on there going like this. It's definitely a bodybuilder thing. I say this time and time again, and I'm going to say it in this video. When you're using your wrist straps, use them correctly. When you're wrapping them, a little bit over the top of your hand. Make sure that's fixed. That's wrist support. Okay, when you've got a lot of movement at your hand, that's not supporting your wrist in any way. That's just really on for show. And to be fair, probably only going to cut the circulation off as well. So one of the easiest and most simplest tips on the planet, if you want to get the most out of your pressing, make sure you're wrapping up correctly, because you will get a lot more support out of it, which ultimately is the main goal and should always be. This is also one of the things, guys, whenever you are traveling to different gyms, if you do want to train at your absolute hardest, you need to be willing to actually give your warm-ups that little bit more time, because like what I said there, gauging off of 1 plate, I was like, I might only be going 2.5 plates today. I'd done 2 plates, it flew. I've just done 3 plates, I've done 4 reps, and it actually felt good enough to go higher. So now it's a case of I'm having to give more time to an extra warm-up set to be able to then maximize the most out of a top set. So again, you can be in the position where you can really overshoot or undershoot a top end set. I would personally always try and recommend to really overshoot a set. So if you think you're maybe going to go in and only be able to manage 6 reps, if you end up doing 12 to 15, that's not a bad thing. If anything, that's a good thing, because that can also give you a chance to be able to do another set and actually go a little bit heavier and fall back and maybe fall into that 6 to 10 rep range. Whereas if you undershoot it too much, then it could also be enough to affect you mentally, because you could go in thinking you're going to get 6 to 10 reps and get 2 reps, and then that fucks your whole session up. So I would definitely say try and overshoot it if you're going to do that. If you're not going to do that, give your warm-ups time and be willing to know that you might be able to take it that little bit heavier, but you are going to be in the set for that little bit longer, because you're going to have to give the machine a little bit more time. Okay. Oh. 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 Okay. Felt a good 6. Not a 6 where it was going to write me off, but it did get to a 6 where I felt my elbows start to want to flare out, and by that point I just want to get away from that. So I'm going to drop it off from here, come back to probably just 2.5. Again, try and keep as tucked as possible even whilst on a prone grip, and go for a nice nasty high repper, and then we can just move from there on to the next press. Oh. Much better, much better. Don't get me wrong, really big fan of the Arsenal shoulder press, but with my set that I done the 3.5 plates, because I just felt my elbow come out that little bit more, I dropped it to the 2, done a few reps, and do you know, it was okay, but it was a case of I could send another set. It's probably going to end up like that just because of the actual angle of the handles. Whereas they do have this Nautilus shoulder press, which you guys know, it's one of my favourites all time. I just like how the handles are actually out in front of you. It forces me to keep my elbows tucked, and it just feels a whole lot nicer, and I can really drive through my delts no matter what weight I'm working with. So again, that's definitely something that if you find a machine that you get on really well with, don't think about progressing it to the max and then switching away with it. If you find something that you connect very well with, you fit into perfectly, it feels amazing on your delts, whether you're doing 1 plate or 6 plates a side, run it forever. Keep it in for years, because it's going to work. You're going to take a lot from it. Your physique is going to develop a lot from it. And it's definitely something that if I had access to it every single week, I would use it every single week. So it's a case of now, whenever we travel, if I have access to it and I'm doing a shoulder focused session, I'm 100% going to use it. So we'll take it up to 4 plates, we'll do a working set, drop it back, working set, and then move on from there, and we'll make up for the lost reps across on the Arsenal shoulder press. Oh, fucking hell, man. Oh. Absolutely beautiful. I actually felt really good, so drop it to 3, take another nice little set, and then I'll be happy to move on. Again. Oh. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy. That felt good. Really good, in fact. You know, a couple of cons to come out of today, because we've always got to be transparent, guys. You know that. My phone signal in here is horrendous, and Sarah won't give me her Spotify Premium, so I've got no music going on, which is not something that I'm into. I really like having music. I feel it just helps me switch off from everything and get totally locked into my set. Everybody's got their different things that they find help them, but for me it's definitely music, and it's definitely something that I found has hit me a little bit today. My overall performance has still been really good so far, which is a win, but from a perspective of being able to get locked into a set, it's been a little bit different. I've just been kind of just heading straight in, not really focusing too much on my approach, which I'm a big advocate of. So that's been different. And the plates, there's no rattle. All the plates are rubber, which at the end of the day, a 20 kilogram plate is 20 kilograms, so it doesn't really matter worth the fuck. But what I will say is, I love a bit of noise. I love a bit of atmosphere from the good old cast iron plates, and unfortunately there's none of them. Not to say that they might not ever get them, but I know in the other PG gym there is a lot of cast iron plates. So, new gym of course. Good session so far. We'll move on to a chest press now. Then we'll potentially take the t-shirt off, because I might by that point have a little bit more of a pump, and my self-confidence might be up a little bit higher. And hopefully by then Sarah will give me her Spotify Premium, so then I can actually listen to some good fucking music. Yep. Ooh. Ooh. E. Oh. Why? Wait. That's the thing as well, guys, whenever you're doing your back off sets, we just have to take on board that our rep ranges are always going to be higher. That doesn't mean that we just don't control the weight. Because they're higher, sometimes you can find whenever you do a back off set, your reps are going to become a little bit quicker. That is okay as long as you stay on the muscle. If you get into a position, for example, say you're doing a chest press and you're doing 15 plus reps, it's going to get hard at some point, and you're going to want to get to that hard point as quick as you can, but you can't have that in your mind. You want to be able to obviously select a weight that you know you're going to get 15 plus with, but just take your time. There's nothing wrong with speeding up that tempo ever so slightly as long as you stay on the muscle. But if you're finding that you're just going here, 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 here with no feel in the muscle whatsoever, then it's just going to be a very counterproductive set towards taking off energy that you're going to need for the following movement in your session. Whereas if you stay on the muscle, but you maybe perform the concentric part a little bit faster than other sets, and the eccentric part you perform it a little bit faster, you're okay, just as long as you stay on the targeted muscle. Oh, 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 and Not that this is a video on how to do your lateral raises, guys, but something that I've definitely found that has really helped me focus on developing my overall side delt, because as you guys know, as a natural bodybuilder, unless this is the one and only time that I would say genetics play a big part, unless you have superior genetics and can develop a really big side delt, which I don't have. Like, everybody wants them big massive cat delts. Unless you've got them genetics, I'm not going to say you can't develop them, but what I am going to say is it's going to take a lot of fucking time, and you're going to have to really focus on the actual targeted muscle. That's something that I've done a lot of recently throughout the past off season. Again, exact same goes with chest training, focusing on what I'm actually training, still with heavy weight, but I've had to kind of reset a little bit. Same goes with things like laterals. You would have seen at the very start of the session as well, I'm not just focusing on grabbing onto dumbbells or grabbing onto handles and just going. I'm really actually trying to push my arm and my hand, push my hand as far away from me as I possibly can get it. Not all the way out to the side, not all the way around the front. In that kind of middle range where you can push your hand as far away from you as possible. You can feel absolutely everything tingling, contracting, and it's really just allowing you to be able to target that small muscle a lot more than just grabbing onto handles or grabbing onto dumbbells and throwing them wherever. Don't get me wrong, guys, you know I'm proper old school. I love the old school like approach, throwing about heavy weight. I'm all about that. But now for me as a professional natural bodybuilder, I really need to focus on bringing up my physique if I want to be very competitive against these men who are like 20 plus years older than me, who have been doing it double the time as me. I've either got that to use as an excuse, or I've got that to use as fucking motivation to make me better. And that's what I always choose, regardless where I place on stage. The next following day, I'm researching what I can do to actually allow myself to get better. And that's exactly what we've done since 22. So I'm not taking you guys through the fucking science-based approach, because to be honest with you, I really don't give a fuck about that. But I want to be able to showcase to you guys what I'm doing to make my physique better. And if it's one little small thing that can help you to make your physique better, then it's a win in my books. It's a very heavy piece. It gets very heavy very quickly. But I was going to just use the standard pec deck. But I thought, do you know something? I'm going to change it up a little bit, because we've got access to this plate-loaded fly, which is very similar to a dumbbell fly. So of course we'll keep it nice and old school. We'll hit this. I've just actually looked over my client there, hence why you'll probably be wondering why I've got my t-shirt back on. That self-confidence part dropped. The pump went down a little bit. So I've got to try and get that pump back ever so slightly before you see some more posing from me. But really happy with where Finley's at. We've got around 11, 12 weeks now until his first initial show, and that's going to be first show of the season, but also first show ever. He's a junior and he's fucking large. So super excited to see him on stage for the first time. Conditions very much there. It's a case of now we can actually fill up. And that again is something that from a natural bodybuilding perspective, don't be afraid to give yourself extra time, because you're only gonna provide so many more values to your actual overall look and your prep or your push-up or your diet or whatever you're doing. Give it that little bit more time, because the second you start rushing things, especially a prep or just even a diet phase for that matter, it's just gonna end up really wrong in the end. If you give yourself more time, like we're 11, 12 weeks out now, we've had consecutive weeks of high days. The conditions still coming through harder. We're on a low amount of output. Performance in the gym is through the roof. Food is super high, and we've still got plenty of time. And that's just going to allow us to be able to reverse that food back up the way even more. And again, it's going to allow for us to be able to hold on to fullness, performance, recovery, which all of these things matter a lot, especially from a natural bodybuilder's perspective. Because remember, guys, we have nothing else to be able to just put in whenever things are starting to get that little bit harder to kind of help. We don't have any of that assistance that we can use. We have to just rely on food and really good supplementation that's not going to have us fail in a drug test. So really happy where he's at, but we'll hit one more set on here, and then what we'll do is we'll finish on some arms and then get some posing done. That's something else. There's quite a lot of it. Primal. There's no prime pieces, but there's prime pieces at the original PG. Not that you need prime pieces, but I think that's always a thing now that you go into a gym and everybody just looks for what prime pieces there is. Well, there's none in here, but there is some other really good bits. Okay. Oh. Oi. That's a wrap for another one. Performance gym here in Irvine in Ayrshire. I most definitely think it's one of them that's up there, if not probably the best gym about here. Again, it's very hard to compare it against the original PG gym, as I've not been there for ages. I do believe it's got a lot more equipment since I've been there, which has been a good few years. So it's definitely up there. Obviously it's just open for a couple of weeks. But if you are in the area, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. Really good equipment, nice posing room, nice big posing room. Don't have to fuck about too much with lights or anything like that, which is always a blessing, especially whenever you're on prep, because you just kind of have to deal with that one light. Lots of space. It's got a car park as well, which is always a big win. But besides that, that's going to be me for another session. Like I say, another week down on prep. Unsure on the current body weight right now. I've not been taking my scale weight for the past couple of weeks just because of where we're at. Obviously, it's going to be total different scales and things like that, different positionings. I don't want my head to go, so we're just kind of monitoring the look, making sure everything's okay from there. Body's still responding, I'm still getting leaner, by far the best that I've looked yet, which of course is a very good position to be in. Still got a nice amount of time, not made any changes to the diet, so whenever they come, they will come. But besides that, I will just include a couple of screenshots on the screen for you guys right now. I was gonna film lots of bits for YouTube for the posing side of things, but we just tried to get a few pictures for Instagram, so we'll include them on here. You can see exactly how things are looking, and we'll just pretty much catch up with you guys in the next video.